Ever since 1992, Summit Racing Equipment has honored its customers with an annual car show. But now that they have their own racetrack as the venue, customer appreciation has gone way up. Welcome to Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides. With the Super Summit celebration now at Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio, the company's catalog of speed and show equipment is on full display, bolted to everything from the latest late model to the earliest hot rod, like some of these.
'29 Model 8 coach. Bought it from a fellow that lives in Toronto. I've had it about 9 years. It was built by one of the best rod builders in Toronto, a guy named Duke Brown of the Roadmates Car Club. All steel, California body. Drivetrain's a 350 Chevy out of a Camaro, 1988 Camaro 350 horse. Fuel injected with a 700R transmission, which is automatic with the overdrive. My grandkids love it. To go to all the car shows up around Toronto within 150 miles, and the grandkids sit in the back, and sometimes I can squeeze one of my dogs in the back, we can, and the wife and I, we really enjoy the car. 3,000 miles a year. I love the Model 8, so why not? I'm 70 years old, why not? Always wanted one. They're just, I don't know, it's just something about them. I've always liked them.
'1933 Plymouth pickup. I won it at Blue Suede Cruise last year. I've changed it a lot since then. Powertrain is 350, 700R transmission, 8.8 Ford rear end. First time out with fuel injection was last night, and drove it out here today with fuel injection. I got to program the computer first. Got to get 100 miles on it. Just drive it everywhere. It's steel and fiberglass. Front of it's steel, top is fiberglass, and the frame around it is steel. Blue Suede Cruise last year, right here at Summit. They were going to give a car away. It was a drawing on Sunday. My name come up, and they had to wake me up in order for me to get it because I was just dumbfounded.
Some of Summit's catalog clients also show, like Trim Parts brand manager Jim Pennekamp.
The 1968 Camaro convertible, bought it as a project car about 5 years ago. Been working on it ever since. Would have taken me a lot less time. I had my grandkids helping me work on it, so they did a great job, but they worked pretty slow. We've got a number of Trim Parts products on it. And since we started this car, we've acquired some other brands within our group. So it's got the Right Stuff disc brakes on it, PUI complete interior. So I've had a lot of help with the car. It's a LS1 drivetrain. It's got a B&M Hurst driveline conversions. So it's got a Tremec 6-speed posi rear end, and it's got a fast performance engine management system in it. Haven't driven it as much as I want to, but it's got about 600 miles on it right now. Actually, I found it through one of our Trim Parts dealers down in southern Florida. Had to have it. I basically bought it and then had to ask for forgiveness so I could come home.
It's a 39 Ford Standard. We bought it from a guy that we did some work for and traded.
He called me at work and said, what if we got a car we don't have to do anything to? We can get in it and go. And I said, sounds great. That was 15 years ago, and I said, do anything you want to do to it, but don't tell me what it cost. While I'm at work, he's playing with this.
Well, we get from the ground up, everything. New brakes, new motor, new transmission, painted twice, upholstered twice. Drivetrain, it's a 350 Chevy. We've got an automatic transmission with overdrive. we got air, and we got tilt, and we got cruise. It's got a late model Lincoln rear end, all disc brakes. It's just a nice car.
And it's never told me what it cost. And that's the reason we're still married. When you're in this car, everyone's friendly. Everyone waves. They're nice.
Actually, every place you go, everyone's really friendly. When you got a street rod, they're all friendly.
This particular dream ride might be more of a nightmare when we return. Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides is being brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. Gotta Show Products, proudly American made. Magic Creeper, ready rain or shine. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation. Meanwhile, back at Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio, the Super Summit Show continues from mild to wild, with absolutely nothing in between.
48 Buick Roadmaster convertible. I had a different car before I had this car, and then when we would go to car shows with our friends, I had a passion for this particular car, and we'd always be looking for these cars, or at least I was. And then a buddy of mine found this particular car in a magazine, so we left Columbus and drove to Chicago and purchased the car.
Oh my gosh, when he first pulled up with that car and I saw it, my first thought was, you paid how much for this car? And it didn't look anything like it does now. It looked like a hunk of junk as far as I was concerned. But now that I see the car and see his vision, what he had in his mind, it's okay.
Well, I would pretty much go along with what she wanted to do, but I had a desire that was stronger than that was going to take place, so I just went, I said, we're buying the car, I'm going to Chicago, and we're going to buy the car. I just had the vision that this is what I wanted, and this is what we were always looking for, at least I was. So that's why I just kind of made my mind up we were going to get it. So it was a little quiet in the house for a while.
Oh, I really enjoy the car now that we get a chance to drive it. But to get back to the reason he bought the Buick, his father and his grandfather also had Buicks, so he wanted to get a Buick as well.
It's beautiful. It's got air ride on it, and with the 455, it just rides down the road beautifully. It's smooth as glass. We searched and searched and searched for a particular color. We went to different car dealers and looked at different colors. And once I thought this car, I think the car fit the color of the car, in my opinion. And we just kind of went with it. And so I was pretty happy the way the car turned out. Everything's Buick. I wanted 100% Buick because I see cars with, a Ford car with a Chevy motor or a Chevy with a Ford, and not that there's anything wrong with that, it was just that I had this vision in my mind that I wanted 100% Buick.
Well, we think it was a 1941 paddy wagon or ambulance. A bunch of us gets together every Friday night in the wintertime and we put our 2 cents together. And by the time we got all the paintwork done on it, we're like, let's do something crazy and make it a crazy mobile. And we came up with the Insane Asylum transport. So that's where it came from. The skeletons are battery operated and they talk and the kids love it. At the Piston Power Show, they just had a field day with it. Put a little rat where we think it was the original fuel door, the fuel pipe coming out. So we got a little ratty over there and having a good time with it. It is a 1985 454 big block with a 700R transmission. Yeah, you gotta go big, It's actually 4 months old and I try to drive it wherever I can. So we're gonna go to Good Guys this year and enjoy it. We get the thumbs up and people take video on the highway and so I hope nobody gets in an accident doing it.
Time now to learn about Dustless Blasting's tools and opportunities with Brian Loams.
Last week we told you about the hows and whys of dustless blasting, and ever since then I've been really excited to try it myself. What we decided to do is we got a hold of this Ford Ranger that's going to be in need of a paint job soon. We drove it into this nice open area, parked it on some plastic, and then we brought the unit in. We got all our hoses hooked up and we're ready to go. I've never done this before. The system's supposed to be real easy to use, and now I'm excited to try it. Fire it up, boys. Man, Zach, you gotta come in here. This is too cool. You know, last week we kind of talked about, in theory, how all this works, but man, to actually see us get to this white metal in like 2 minutes is amazing.
Absolutely, and it is just as simple as picking it up and pointing and shooting.
And since we're on the plastic here, everything's self-contained. There's no giant mess. There's not stuff flying all through the air. You guys talk about dustless blasting as being the future of surface preparation, and after doing it myself, I cannot argue. It's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you so much. We're awfully proud of it, and you know, it's definitely an exciting tool for entrepreneurs as well as established businesses.
Very neat. We're going to be back next week with more great information at Dustless Blasting.
When Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides returns, it's pickups on parade. Welcome back to Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides. While Bigfoot casts a big shadow over the Summit Midway, at least these trucks can park in the driveway.
It's a 69 Ranchero pickup. Most people wonder what it is. They look at it, you know, they haven't seen many of them. El Caminos, they know a lot about them because Chevy advertised the heck out of them, but Ford, not that much. 302 engine, we bored it out, it's 30 over. It's got new air conditioning from Denton, Texas. It's got an 8-blade fan for cooling instead of a 5, and it's got a 3000 CFM pusher fan on it. Aluminum trick flow heads. It's got a 650 carburetor, but we stretch it out and oversize the jets in the primaries two-sided. Got a new transmission, new torque converter, new radiator. Yeah, we just cruise in it. It rides nice. I put all new interior out of a 2012 Mustang so I can get the power bucket seats and that in it. It's different. I mean, you can go to a car show and you can see all kinds of Mustangs and Chevy pickups and everything. There aren't many left. Most of them, honestly, are about rusted out.
1978 Ford F100, original owner. I ordered it from the factory back in the spring of 1978. Paid $5,200 for it then. Few options, not a lot. Got the V8, power steering, automatic. And I bought it local. I bought it in town here at Norwalk, at the old Ford dealer in Norwalk. I ordered it from him and then it came in. Didn't quite look like that, but I knew that's what it was going to look like. It just took me 30 years to get there. It's a 302 Windsor, Ford 30 over. Everything is all new except for the block. That block is the original to the truck. It's got a Dyer 671 blower on it, 2 4s. The interior's pretty much stock. I put a sunroof in it and got different gauges and stuff in it, but the interior is pretty much stock. Different radio, different steering wheel, original bench seat. The grill is a aftermarket billet deal. I bought that back in the early 80s. I can't even tell you the manufacturer anymore. It's been so long. It's a trailer queen. I'm a little afraid of it on the street because it's wicked. You just tap the throttle and it goes. See, back in the 70s, Car Crash Street Machine Nationals, if you wanted to be recognized out there, you had to look like a freak. That's how this thing got started, with the flames, the blower sticking through the hood, the big tires. If you wanted to be recognized, you had to be wild.
It's an 04 F350 Super Duty. It's got 9.5-inch BDS suspension, 42-inch tall swamper tires. It's a 6-liter diesel. Heads have been studded, programmer, cold air intake, over 500 horse, over 1,000 torque, and it can burn them tires all the way down the street. It's sick and it's a blast. It's exhaust 4 to 5 to 7-inch straight exhaust, and it's fast and loud. No muffler, no converter, nothing. I drive it all the time, every day. When you're laying down a $10,000 paint job, you don't want to take it off-road. I build them to do it. It's, strong enough to do it, but I just don't do it. When Bigfoot came out, I was hooked. So I've had like over 60 trucks. I'm done getting rid of them. I just want to collect them. I just want to get more, but I ain't getting rid of these ones.
Hey, I like diamonds. That's his thing. These are my things.
Looking for that perfect show-worthy stainless steel fitting? Then go to Gotta Show Products.
For like the 4L60 and 4L80 transmissions, they have a quick disconnect fitting. We actually manufacture our own special adapters and eliminate that quick disconnect fitting and actually thread a standard fitting into it to route your hoses. We do some fuel lines. We do stainless fittings for the Strombergs 94 carburetors, the fast fuel injection. We've got a pretty neat kit for going from a stock GM pump to an Edelbrock carburetor. So no, we do handle most of your fuel applications. The GM gearboxes, we have 2 part numbers. One's for 65 to 79, one's for 80 and later GM gearboxes and rack and pinions. We also handle the Mopar stuff in the early 70s. We have 2 part numbers that fit any Ford rack and pinion that was ever made. We've got it broke down to what does your rack look like. If you go to the website, on our power steering hose page, on the top right-hand side, you click on the picture. If your rack looks like this is the part number you need. If your rack looks like this is the part number you need. The air conditioning fittings, they're all stainless. They're the only stainless fittings on the market. They're designed to be a crimp fitting. They're properly crimped. We warranty them for life. If a customer fits them, marks them with a permanent marker on the tube and on the hose, sends them to us, we crimp them, we test them at no charge to 500 pounds, and the only charge is the return shipping, and we have them 1 day. The other thing that we do is if a customer buys a kit from us and say wherever they mount their dryer, they go, boy, we'd rather have straights there. We have a free exchange program, so the customer doesn't have to buy more fittings. You go to the website, gottashow.com.
Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides is being brought to you by Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. B&M Racing and Performance, quality performance products that work. Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation. As Summit Racing Equipment celebrates 67 years as an industry icon, here are examples of racing's past and future.
55 Chevy Nostalgic Gasser Clone. I bought it off a friend who I graduated from high school, and I got a 56. Thought it'd be neat to have a 55, and it had the crate motor in it. Basically just appearance stuff like the tinted windows and moon tanks and things like that. Got rid of the side exhaust and put dumps on it. When I bought the moon tank, my wife says, "What'd you buy that for?" And I says, "Appearance only." And I said, "You buy your Longenberger baskets and I'll buy my moon tanks." So we're good to go. It's a fun car to drive and definitely gets right with the program. It rides rough, typical shoebox type car. Police don't seem to bother me, which is a good thing. Right now I'm reworking my 56 Chevy. I've put a stroker motor nat and a rack and pinion steering and whatnot, so that's a show car. I've owned it since ever. At 70 years old, you never forget it. It's in your blood. Just a flashback to childhood, I guess. I don't know. So I just added to my collection, but I've had my fun and it's time to move on.
This is a streamliner that we built about 6 years ago now. We started. It was a 5-year project. There was 2 years of design work and then 3 years of building. There's about 12 guys that are involved. And a lot of guys come out from across the country by internet and everything else to be part of the team that wouldn't normally happen if you were just all local guys trying to put together. So there's a lot of cooperation over the internet. The body is fiberglass, okay, so we had to make molds for it. So we can actually make another one of these cars much easier than we made the first. It's a twin turbocharged big block Chevrolet. It's a Dart motor. Make approximately 2,600 horsepower at 29 PSI and 7,200 RPMs. The turbo 400 transmission, rest of the drivetrain. There's very little GM parts left in it, but it was originally that shell. And then it's got a Winner's Extreme Liner rear end. And our final drive ratio is either 1.5 to 1.71, somewhere in that range. I'm the driver right now. We hope to run in the 425 range. On the testing, we had a fuel pump go bad, and the engine went lean, and everything got very hot and cooked a lot of stuff in the engine compartment. Thermal management within the engine compartment is a huge job, and DEI has come along board to help us and give us the stuff we needed to try to contain the heat inside the headers. The current record for a class that I'm in is 348, and we've already been 360 on a little test pass, but we're really looking to be the fastest wheel-driven car. The fastest wheel-driven car so far is held by a guy named Don Vesco at 458 miles an hour. We want to be the first to 500. That's the goal. That's the whole enchilada. That's what we want to do.
And at the center of this all was our show hosts.
Super Summit is our chance to really share everything Summit Racing with our customers. Chance for them to come out and show off projects, what they've built with the parts they bought from Summit Racing. We've got everything from street rods, hot rods, muscle cars, pickup trucks, lifted, lowered, rat rod, you name it. This is really an event for everybody. Bigfoot's, we've been long-term partners with those guys. We bring out 3 trucks for this event. We specially wrapped one for the event. They brought out number 5, which is the 10 tall tire, which everyone loves to see. And then we brought out the latest truck, number 21, which is their newest race truck, which is the highest tech, probably monster truck out there right now. The best part is free admission to get in, spectators, the guys with the cars. We do autocross, fun runs down the racetrack. Again, all of it is free. Kind of an open house for the customers to come hang out with us from Summit Racing and Summit Motorsports Park. We do a couple of these throughout the year. About a month ago, we did the Atlanta Motorama at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We take over the infield of the track there, and then we come here a couple months later, and then in August, we head out to Reno for Hot August Nights.
A quick way into any show would simply be to buy your ride. What's it worth to you?
32 Ford Roadster. I did a little trading on it for a truck I had, and I've had it about a year and a half. Just trying to move on to something different. It's got about 14,000 miles on it. It's a 355 Chevy roller motor, 350 turbo, 9-inch Ford, 355 gears, 4-wheel disc brakes. Just a good driving car.
Any takers? Next week, we'll still be broadcasting from the Buckeye State as Dustless Blasting presents Dream Rides, hits to the Westgate Charity Car Show in Lima, Ohio.